Student demonstrators are marching in central London, venting their anger over education cuts and tripling tuition fees. 10,000 protesters are expected to join the rally. And this comes almost a year after similar protests in the heart of the British capital descended into violence. Well, for more on this, I'm joined live by RT's Ivor Bennett, who's keeping across developments for us. Ivor, of course, there are concerns today that the march could turn ugly if tempers flare. What's the atmosphere there like right now?
Well, the protesters have literally just left from outside the University of London Student Union, where I am now. They were gathered here from all over the UK, some from universities as far afield as Scotland, and the organisers were expecting up to 10,000. We haven't quite reached that number yet, but there's certainly a good few thousand here. The numbers have swelled considerably in the last hour. They have now just left, though, on their march through the centre of London towards the City of London, the financial district. I can still hear the helicopter hovering overhead, so they're not far away. Now, what they're campaigning against is tuition fee hikes that will see universities charging up to £9,000 per year from beginning next year. At the moment, it's £3,000, so that's an increase of 3 times. And they're also campaigning against education cuts. There's a government proposal that's been put through just this summer. It's going through Parliament now, that could see, for the first time, private providers offering degrees. Now, the students are saying that's the privatization of their education, and big business will profit. Now, that's what they're unhappy about. A lot of placards are being brandished saying, our education, not their business. So they're very unhappy about that. That's what a lot of the chants are centred on as well. Now, we've heard a lot about the police tactics leading up to this protest, because this time last year, the student protest ended with a lot of violence and destruction of property. And the police have, for the first time on mainland UK, authorised the use of plastic bullets, pre-authorised it for a planned protest. And there's already 4,000 police officers on the streets here. Now, to talk more about the protest, I'm joined now by Chris Nynham from the Coalition of Resistance. Chris, thanks very much for speaking to RT. Now, tell me, why are you here?
Well, I'm here because education affects everyone in society. And what is really going on here, and why people are so angry, is that the government is dismantling education as we know it. They're making it very, very hard for poorer people to get to university at all. They're also, as you suggest, introducing big business into the way that universities are run. And that includes the cutting of major parts of the major courses in university after university. And
why should that not happen?
Well, why should business be running education? Education is something which is about developing human beings. It's about giving people a wider perspective on society. It's about, it should be about learning. And big business has its own priorities. It's about making profits. It's not about developing people. And I believe education should be as broad and as fulfilling and creative as it can be. And what it will mean is that arts courses, a music course in Norwich, a famous music course in University of East Anglia, is being slashed. Humanities courses that don't directly lead to profits for big corporations will be slashed. It will all be about trying to create a factory of ideas for making profits for the corporations. That is wrong, and people want it to end.
So alongside the tuition fee hikes, up to £9,000 per year students will be paying, what will this mean for the next crop of students in the years to come?
Well, it will mean that education, higher education, further education to a certain extent as well, will become something that is basically for the privileged. It'll be like what it was in the 1930s, before, the big developments of the new universities, the massive expansion of university education, which was a fantastic thing for working class people. It's a class project. It's about forcing working class people really out of education. And as I say, it's about turning universities into factories for producing people for the big corporations.
Now, given last year's violence at the equivalent protest, the police have preempted what they feel will be another violent outburst. And we've already in the protest, we've seen a lot of anarchists there as well, seemingly hijacking it. What does that do, if there is any violence, to the message here? Does it take away from it?
Well, I mean, those are loaded terms, I must say. I mean, people have all sorts of political views, and I was under the impression that was allowed in this country. What the announcement that was made, the incredibly provocative announcement that was made that there's going to be rubber bullets in preparation for this demonstration, is absolutely outrageous. I mean, if anything was likely to increase the level of tension, increase the level of distrust and the level of fear, actually, of the police, it would have been that. And they have done that, and that's a terrible, terrible thing. No one in their right mind could possibly say that is about trying to keep the day calm. The only role the police should be playing is to facilitate the right to peaceful protest. This protest will be peaceful unless the police weigh in and start kettling people and start harassing people, or, God forbid, use ammunition against them. I mean, this was a deeply retrograde step. It should never have happened, and we'd be putting the maximum pressure on the police to apologise for it and to say they're never going to do it again.
Chris Nynan from the Coalition of Resistance, thanks very much for speaking to RT. Now, as I say, the protesters have actually moved on from here. They are marching towards the City of London. We'll join up with them very shortly. We are keeping updates coming on Twitter, though, and you can follow us at RT London Bureau, where we'll keep you updated. Back to you.
Thank you very much indeed for that. RT's Ivor Bennett there reporting live.